Good morning, my wonderful friends. It's kind of interesting. Just the angle of my light. Very, very. Anyways, enough fiddling. I'm just testing out a backup phone because I ran out of space on mine like I did in the early part of the summer. And then I'm not able to post or make any videos. Actually, it cuts me off. So I'm testing my other phone and seeing if it will post onto the same YouTube thing that I can then use my phone to share on Facebook and stuff. So that's my little testing. So this video, I think most likely will work. Or else it won't, and then it'll just be kind of a floater or something floating around in the ethers. But what do I have to say this morning? I woke up early, 5:30. Woke up in a sweat, which most likely is just because it was warm, and I've been so used to it being cooler. The mild in here it's a bit warm. So I woke up semi-soaked, and it was just not comfortable to fall back asleep. So I did my mini handy wipe shower in the warmth and security of my little enclosure here with the heater on. And that's the first time I've done that, and it was very luxurious and easy. That's definitely the way to do it. It's a bit awkward because you've got to be lying down and can't be standing up anywhere because there's nowhere to do it. And that's been just kind of making the cogs turn with an aspect of in here that would really make it a lot better. And that would be to just move one wall out a little bit to give me just enough, even a foot would give me one edge to be able to put my feet down and not have my back curved. For various things. It could have a little desk, and I could sit there at a desk, but it would be warm like the rest of the place. It could be a little bit of storage, a bunch of things. So I'm thinking about that. I'm contemplating very seriously about doing something like that. I'm also thinking about, because this has worked so well, the next stage of commitment, if I was to choose it, and definitely would be more usable for like -20, minus whatever, -30, would be if I chose to fully insulate it, whether like a 2x2 thin wall, which would be more useful in the sense that I'm not making a giant box and a lot of material. So I could do a thin wall with that hard sort of foamy insulation, or I could do a thicker wall with 2x4s, and then it gets heavy too. I got to think about this big bulky thing that then is left here that I've got to move around. I was thinking of putting wheels on it, so it will roll this way and that. That would make it a lot easier. So it'll be this very, very tiny home on wheels, or a very large box on wheels, kind of like a freezer box. It would look like, I would think, like an upright fridge box, only on its side. I mean, a little bit bigger than that, but I think that's what it would look like, a shipping box of some kind. But boy, would it ever make it useful in here. Yeah, and then just figuring out a few little designer features to make it even more cool and useful and handy dandy. Like an opening to like a little door would be cool. So I'm playing around with what that would be. And I think if I was to go that far, and I might be doing that, is like with the insulation and everything, I'm thinking of my far wall at the foot of my bed. I could have that whole wall be able to be pulled out, or dropped down or whatever. I think we just pulled out and disconnected, pulled over like a big door, temporary. Like it could be with screws, nuts and bolts, whatever. Like nice and sturdy. But then I could pull that out, and I'm thinking for the better design, it would not be to build it onto the bed like I have, but would be to build the box, and then with that one foot of the bed kind of wall able to be taken right out, you could then slide in a bed, and so you could change your bed. You could open that wall up and then do a complete reno or a cleanup or change a mattress, whatever. So that would be way more doable than built onto the bed. So anything I do this year could be vamped up in a perfect project for next year. And you know what? It's a sleeping pod. It would be very useful if I had a guest over and I wasn't using it. Like I may not use it once I have my place, obviously, but I still might build it just to have as a guest pod. Yeah. So before building that, I'll have to think of a few little odds and ends that I'd want worked into it for the effort. But I think it would be really, really cool. I really do. And of course, this would have insulation on the floor too. That would make a massive difference. See, I don't. And it's still pretty good in here, although it's not -30 yet. But for this winter, I want to use it as an experimental site for improving it for next year. So it's a working model. And no, I think, like, I'm not joking around. I think this would be a great project, a great backup, and a great little pod just to always have available for someone who's visiting and is open to the idea. Don't have to stay at a hotel. And before I have a little cabin of some kind for guests to stay in, this would be an exciting adventure. Like, I know loads of people, I think mostly men, but would absolutely want to test out the sleeping pod. So, and what I would have done is I'd have, as I do, is I have a plastic wrapped over the mattress. So you would come to the pod to stay and you'd bring your sleeping bag, or blankets and stuff if that was your choice. But you'd bring your own bedding. It would be cleaned down, spotless for the person coming in. I would interior decorate the whole thing to be really funky and cool, little shelves and little drop down desks for writing or laptops and things. I think it would just be a fun project for me. It would be I did a dog house. This would be the next step up from the dog house. Now, it was a very big dog house because of my dogs, so it could have been lived in. But this would be the step up, and before I build a actual tiny home, a little 10 by 10 kind of thing. So I like everything about it so far. I like the adventure of it. I like the small container. It could have eventually be put outside with the design I'm thinking of. So it could be indoor, outdoor, on wheels or not. It could be on wheels or on bricks, but it would be designed to be very easily moved around. And so I think I'd need to figure out a moving system without big heavy machinery, a way that I could take that little box house bed pod thing with what I have and slide it onto a trailer or whatever. I'm thinking that's probably the best way is I would have my trailer set up, not my trailer I'm living in or that I'm planning to live in, but my pull trailer, cargo trailer. I would have it set up right close, and then I'd have to have a a cable wrapped around it, and probably the winch on my side-by-side Ranger could then pull, or just the Ranger itself, it could pull the little pod onto the trailer. So if that works really well, then I'm set, because then I can actually move it around. Like, it would literally be very usefully mobile. So as I think about these great little options, now the thing is, it wouldn't be able to be heated by a wood stove or anything, but it would also be so small that a little electric heat would be enough. So, but now I'm thinking it would have to be close to where there's a plug-in outlet for your heater if that was the case. So there is that limitation. I wouldn't want to have a whole bunch of them, because then you'd have a whole bunch of little heaters on and something's going to blow. So that wouldn't work. But I think to have one as one of the options of these cool little staying overnight spaces, I think would be doable. And with it being that small, the little heater isn't going to be a heavy draw. But fun experiments, that's the main thing. And it'll be one of many options for little places to stay eventually. So, did you hear my rooster back there? Rusty the rooster. Remember Friendly Giant? Rusty the rooster. Jerome the giraffe. There was also the raccoons. Anyways, got a small soul print session today at 1. I ordered a bunch of pre-cooked meal kind of things, lasagna, chicken lasagna. I ordered a regular lasagna a few days ago, and that was great for me and my client. But I'm planning, for a while at least, to experiment with ordering pre-done meals from Alice's Pantry in Bancroft. Wonderful Mennonite lady who is definitely cooking some nice stuff. And I'm just thinking, it's stressing me out a bit trying to pre-cook a meal to be ready for a client so that we eat in the middle of the day, rather than me have breakfast and then just go for the whole day, sometimes long days without eating. It's just not a good thing to sustain. So I'm looking into Alice's Pantry and her meals for when I have clients. I think they're quite fairly priced, and I think I'm going to give it a go anyways, and we'll see how it unfolds. But I'm liking the idea. Makes my life a little bit easier. I'll have a bunch of stuff in the fridge and some in the freezer maybe. So I always have a backup couple of meals that I could pull out of the freezer, or one prepared, pulled out of the fridge for when I'm working. So that would be good. That would definitely be good, because it's just too much. In the environment I'm in now, I did it when I was in Fergus, and Raven was in hospital then, and I managed to do it. I managed to do it by prepping. So basically, I had the exact same meal every day. No client knew, I knew, and that made it much easier. But I think this is going to be a must, because I'm not in a house. I don't have a full-on kitchen that just is there for me. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good choice. My wonderful friend, well, I have so many wonderful friends, but a wonderful friend of mine that I've known for a long, long time, a real core friend, Jim, is coming over in a couple of days to help me and show me, direct me on my first winterizing, draining everything from the trailer before the winter freeze. All the pipes and stuff, all the water, the gray water, and so on. So I'm excited about seeing Jim again, making them a coffee. I always like, if I can make someone a coffee, I have a need to work with people. I think it comes from doing my soul print sessions. But, it can't always be soul printing. And I think that roasting coffee for people, and a lot of people go, oh, no, don't waste your time. It's a lot of work. But I like, it's a little offering that I'm able to do of my energy, my love for whoever's here. I get that satisfaction when I'm doing a soul print, but I can't always be doing that on people. So I feel that making them a coffee from scratch is my little kind of offering, my love offering for a little mini healing, a little mini coffee healing. But yeah. What else do I have to report about? Oh, wood got delivered. I'm really excited about that. And like wood lumber. And what else is there's new things on the horizon. Oh, yes. I took a leap. A friend of mine, Mark, who also led me to and inspired me to order a ghost catcher instrument, which I mentioned about earlier. I'm pretty sure most of you know, but if you don't, I'm going to be receiving it soon in the mail, so I'll be showing it off and learning how to play it fairly soon. But also, Mark pointed out, when he came, he brought a reindeer hide, and I had looked into them a long time ago before, and probably the last time Mark visited is my guess. And it was a company in Scandinavia, I think, I think it's... But anyways, they have reindeer hides available online, and it was a very fair price. Generally speaking, you can get smaller ones that make sense. The smaller ones are in the best shape, and the bigger ones would be an older reindeer, so they would be more worn and more of a kind of less of a display kind of thing, but more just useful. Could be for putting over a bench to sit on outside in an igloo or whatever, some kind of snow fort. Wrap over a bed, which is what I'm planning to do. It's not a decoration. It's a very useful thing. They use them out there, Siberia and Mongolia, the nomads, to keep warm. Various ways of using it. They have them stitched together as a covering for their kind of a teepee-like yurt, and they have them for going over beds, whatever. So my plan is to have one to flop over my sleeping bag when I'm sleeping, and I'll experiment. I think logic would have it that having the fur inwards and the leather on the outside would be possibly more useful way to do it. But I would try it both ways. Mark said that if you have the fur inwards, it's less likely to slip off of you. So we'll see. There'll be another experiment, another exploration, as I explore my nomad inner self as it unfolds. And as I have fun doing it. That's an important part of my message and my exploration here is there is no reason at all to not have fun. Having fun, to me, is invoking the child within. And if you're having fun, you're entertaining and exercising your child. And giving your child freedom to move and express itself and his or herself. And I just think it's an important part of healing and an important part of health. So it's kind of important to have fun. And it seems like it's not the thing that is even possible when someone's going through some major challenges and grieving like I am. and many others are. But it is doable, and it is necessary. That's the thing I've found, is you can't just lock yourself out. You've got to find little bubbles, at least little pockets of childlike creative expression and amusement. Allow yourself to fall into fascination and amusement with things. And for me, creativity is the greatest thing for that in expression. Inviting that into my life helps me a lot, even if it's just working on building this little contraption here that I'm sleeping in. It gets me outside of the box, even though I'm building a box. Gets my creative juices flowing, and just like moving around when you're cold gets your energy flowing and you warm up, well, creatively expressing yourself while you're feeling very low and emotionally challenged warms up the heart and soul. So I feel it's absolutely imperative in what I'm going through and in anyone's healing processes. It's very, very important. So that kind of swirls in with everything I've just been doing with my pumpkin carving and all my findings that have totally... I'm so happy with some of my things I've become aware of with that. And my potential that I plan for doing an experimental workshop next year with other people carving and get their report on what it did for them, if anything, and how much, and so on. So lots of fun for the coming year. Super exciting. I know you guys are going to love. If I'm super excited, you will be, because the next year is going to be a massive amount of shift and change for me here at Nomad Village, but I think also for everyone out there. I think there'll be parallel stories and experiences for sure. So, am I going to get up and make my coffee? Am I going to try and have a half-hour nap? I can still feel that little underslept feeling, which I could help a little bit by having that nap, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep, so I'll see. Either way, even if I have a nap, I'll be having my coffee within the hour. So, and if I don't, within the half hour. But I will be ending this video and wishing you guys a wonderful day. And got my little light on here because whenever I go out, ultimately I've got some dark catacombs to walk through, shadows here and there, dark corners to shed light on, as we all do. Kind of that miner kind of look, eh? Been a miner for a heart of gold, and I'm getting